Hello, Berbice, diaspora, and the Guyanese globally. Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, hello. My name is Shamir Ali, and I served as Guyana's ambassador, second ambassador to Kuwait from 16 to 20. I also was the first alternate governor with Minister Winston Jordan, who was the first governor at Islamic Development Bank. He was from 16 to 20, and I served with him from 17 to 20. And together, we learned the Arabic 3 keys: relationships, sabar meaning patience, and respect. That is how we are able to achieve $900 million for credits and grants to Guyana for the years 2018 to 2022. So I'm delighted to be host this evening, and special thanks to Sherrod Duncan and his team, and especially MP Kathy and Jaretta for all their background work. We are very, very appreciative. We've just celebrated our 56th, and we have with us the one and only Derek Basio. He is known as a man for all seasons. He speaks the truth without fear or favor. He must have big insurance policy in his back pocket. How was independence in Guyana, Derek?
Well, good afternoon, good evening, viewers, and the entire world. I know this program is very much received all over. To my special viewers in Berbice, I just want to let you know that I was present there as an RDC counselor for Region 6 from Mara to Molson Creek, Oriala, Superuta included. We celebrated the function very nice. It was very well done. The flag was raised, and photographers were there, the police were there, the chairman for the RDC, vice chairman, and a host of other people. It was very well done, and I appreciate it very much because, Berbice deserves it. Professor, with the independence, we are the 56th year, and there's so much to say. We are 56 years, almost touching my age, and we still going through some of these unrelated stuff that is embarrassing to say on national TV, for the world to know that we are plowing through mud and everything else. And we'll have that discussion, Professor.
Okay, Derek, speak the truth, speak the truth. Yes. And I know Berbice has always been special from the days of His Excellency Dr. Chetty Jagan, Lyndon Forbes Sampson, Burnham, all the prime ministers, Hoyt and Ramatar, and everyone. Berbice is very, very special. And my special plea to Berbicans today is, because of your access and the respect that the political leadership have for you, please tell them the truth. Speak your mind with all due respect. Those are my 3 famous words I recommend to my students and anybody who knows me. Pay the respect with all due respect and say what is wrong. Because if you do not communicate, everybody will believe everything is okay. And if you're hurting, say it, explain it. Simple. If you cannot, if you're shy baby, don't want to say it, pick up a piece of paper and a pen, write a note, write to the president. He is our president. Write to him at Main Street, let him know, because unless you do that, Berbice and all Guyana, the leaders don't have the benefit of the doubt. All the outreaches, you might be shy baby, you don't want to be named, you want to send a letter without a name, that's fine too. Let him know you're sending from Berbice. He will know it's posted in Berbice. He doesn't have to know your name if you want to be incognito. But please let our leaders know that's part of servant leadership. Leadership, they all serve us with all due respect. All the presidents, including United States, They serve. The president today he is out today trying to get people to support gun lobbying. He works 24/7. People are letting him know. They're writing letters. He's in tears. Our leaders in Guyana and or the CARICOM, it's the same. But unless we as citizens communicate to them, they will feel everything is okay. Only one group complaining and every other group is okay. But we all should communicate, is my plea to Guyanese as we enter the 57th glorious day. What hurts me as I traveled around, I've done 80 countries, is to see that Singapore was poorer than us in 1966. And look where Singapore is. An island with very little resources, but it had leader Lee Kuan Yew Sr. with vision, and he had people around him, and he listened, and he was tough. Some people call him a dictator in his day, but he was tough. No chewing gum on the floor. In New York, chewing gum is all over the subway, black spots. Not in Singapore. Clean as a whistle. So sometimes leaders have to be cruel to be kind, but it must be there. But citizens, it's our responsibility. With all due respect, the leaders work for us. We elect them. We are paying them. They're using our taxpayer dollars. It's not their money, irrespective of what they might think, or any leader from 66 right down, no leader anywhere. They serve you. Look at Philippines. Philippines past president's son is now back. Constant change occurs. Nothing stays the same. And if people are unhappy, please communicate. Derek, what else is happening with the rice in Berbice? I've been hearing all kinds of rumor with the flood. Are the floods affecting Berbice farmers?
Yes, the flood, the May June rain is here, and it's not so much as yet, but I think in about a week or two, we're gonna have torrential rainfall. And it's natural disaster, yes, that we suffered last year, and a whole heap of money was paid out, especially to friends and family. Up to now, people are complaining, and their concerns are as straightforward as ever. All over, people in the plant and they get money. You know, who plant and they get nothing, who suffer losses they didn't get, right? And you check it. Even to the vice president now is saying that, you know, where is all this money went to, and all these complaints are coming in, and he wants to do an investigation, and I don't blame him for that. You know, Professor, you was talking about the diaspora a little bit. You know, with global warming, especially now, you know, people in, like, let's say New York, New Jersey, they used to run to Florida like snowbirds to avoid the cold. Now they are not in Florida, they are in Guyana. And I'm serious, a lot of people are talking about it, and they are keeping meetings and with groups and talking about Guyana. People are here in Guyana, and they are not trying to demand what they deserve. You know, this is our land, our oil, right? We should have the first say. It's a good thing Mr. Raphael Trotman had negotiated and got another percentage on royalty. You know, Professor, we as citizens of Guyana, and I'm proud, you cannot take Guyana out of me. I could go to New York, New Jersey, England, but you cannot take Guyana out of me. And I want everybody in Guyana here to know the same thing. No, don't let all the foreigners come and take the whole pie, and then you're not going to even settle for crumbs. That's exactly what is going on. My fellow Barbicians, New Amsterdam, and I'm talking here about New Amsterdam and the listeners in New Amsterdam. If you go there from any part of Guyana or any part of Berbice to go and shop in New Amsterdam, with the cars, it's so much of potholes, Professor. It's a shame. It's a shame. The chairman for the RDC lives in New Amsterdam. And if you see the potholes, his street got almost the most potholes you could think about. You know, we are here in Guyana, and they're looking to bring in a stadium to Palmyra, an airstrip to Kanji, and building the Suriname to Guyana bridge, which is all good. It's good infrastructure. I admire them doing that. But also, you got to think about, A lot of streets that was fixing during our time with Mr. David Patterson, Minister of Infrastructure then, this administration is completing them and they are getting the credit. But viewers out there, please know that we had these things in the pipeline to do. And if we had another chance, we would be completing all of these work and more on top of this. Look at piracy, Professor, at sea. Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan has put a stop completely to piracy. There was no more piracy. Look at the road deaths now along the roadway. Number 47 village, my fellow Barbicians, you know what I'm saying here. 58, 59, which is a death trap. A couple of years ago, a whole family got crashed and killed everybody in the car. I don't want to wake up your memory bank to all these tragedies, but it's happening presently now. 52, 53 got major potholes. It was by this 18 months in government with this administration, they fixed that thing 5 times. It's all patch and cover up. Now it's like a seesaw, hill and high and low thing. You go through 58, 59. Bad roads. Substandard work to the max. Professor, we were in myself and some NDC councillor, we were in that road in the back of Cariverton. Right? If you see the damage and the disgusting things, the people are complaining. There is a contractor who got this road. The people themselves, they're going to dig the road, the bricks that they put on top of sand, right? And it's about 2.5 inches. And then they're going to pour concrete on top of that. It's no good. It's very bad, very, very bad. Bad roads, all in the back of Rampur Race Course, down by Lenpa, the road is terrible. Going down to Molson Creek, we got people coming over from Suriname, and they got travel between those potholes. When the rain falls, you don't know where is the holes, because the whole road is covered with water. These are all things we got to look for. Look after our people first, look after our streets, then go to the major things. Presently, they're doing a survey from New Amsterdam to Molson Creek. They're going to be taking 4 more feet on each side of the road. And then they're going to put in the middle another 4 feet with the street lights, right? The road is okay in certain parts, right? But also you're fixing the public road, go to in the streets and look after our people in the streets. And I could prove to you, Professor, that some of the people in the schemes, they are not getting 3 square meals. Some of the kids, it's a shame. I could attest to it. If anybody want to come and take me, and I'll show them some of these houses and the condition that people living in. Children are not going to school. These are all a shame. We were doing very good. We were doing very good to compare with what's going on now. It's not something that you got to go figure out from a rocket scientist. 56-year anniversary, right? And we are still in the same slum, in the same rut, right? We got to change. We got to do this thing. All this money pouring out, and there's nothing to answer, nothing to think. No transparency, no accountability, Professor.
Councillor Derek, you are on target. You are on target. And we can only plead with Barbicians. They have to speak up, just like how you're speaking up, with all due respect, to communicate. Today, the Islamic Development Bank asked me some questions. And one was, the Dutch had very good sea defenses. Why was it not maintained? And you had major government for 23 and 28 years. And honest, I had no answer. They're doing their research very deeply. One, Islamic Development Bank asked again. The Americans built a road for your Atkinson Airport. It still stands. Why the other roads cannot stand up like that? And the billions are being spent. I had no answer. I said, I know. I lived at Providence and I used that road. And I know that road is still, because they do quality work and they pay quality fees. And there's no friends, families, and favorites. It's all professional. So Islamic Development is doing, I know the president saying he's expecting 120 million, but I can tell you with all due respect, they are looking very carefully on the past of Guyana's performance. They asked, I have nothing to hide. They asked me what would be my advice. I said, with all the monies they have, let Guyana spend their billions and do one project. Document that, a show, tell, and know. And that will be a guide, not just all the applications and ask. So, there is. The potholes should not be. We should not have potholes with quality work. By now, we have enough intelligence with 56 years of government for the roads to be done properly, quality. Perhaps there is a failure in the procurement system in getting the cheap price rather than quality. Maybe we have to use the Lee Kuan Yew method of procurement. With all due respect, because that works. We have to use what works. And another question I'm asked today from a Gulf investor, I wouldn't call the nation, but we're at reaching to Gulf investor, and I'm still in touch with everyone I had when I was in Kuwait, and now they're asking for my advice, left, right, and center. One advice was, why is it the Guyana government didn't have a substantive minister of finance on the ISDB board? When in 2016 and 20, when you served with Senior Minister Jordan, you had a minister of finance, and you was alternate governor with finance background from Kuwait. How come there's no minister of finance? I said, you have to ask the persons who are sitting on there. And Dr. Jordan, with all respect, he has earned a master's degree. He does not have an earned doctorate. He has a gifted doctorate. And he's not first vice president. With all due respect, the first vice president is the prime minister. So
that is so true.
Is a second. You see, I cannot lie to the Arabs. There's no money in the world. You lose your face with the Arabs, you lose your face forever. And that's my advice with the government, with all due respect. Can you pulling a fast ones like having a vice president as the governor? There's no vice president. There's a second vice president. You're putting the ISB reputation at risk, and they're not going to like that. Also, you're having a senior minister in the office of the president. Why there's no little Suriname? 15 years, they have a substantive minister of finance and planning as the governor, and another as the alternate. These little things are affecting Guyana, and Bobisans, you all have to speak out. Let me tell you a little bit on the process at Islamic Development Bank, how it operates. There's a committee, a group recommends, with all due respect, the president can call the president. Those are people's money. It's Saudi Arabia money. They have had their hands burnt around the world, so they're very, very thorough. I happen to help them also how to do due diligences, how to check and make sure the money is well spent. There is a group will examine the proposal, all the feasibility studies. Then they go to another level where Suriname is the leader of 8 nations out of the 57. She's a lady, a very experienced lady in the Ministry of Finance, highly recommended. She is known as a Regional Executive Director, RED, for the area, including some in the Middle East, including Brunei. Very rich country too. So after they finish that level, then it goes to the vice president of the Islamic Development Bank, another level. Then the country manager and the same regional director. Then if the recommendation passes, then it goes to the full board with 18 RED. And those 18 RED is going to fire questions left, right, and center. I asked one question because I happened to have written a book with Professor Marquardt at George Washington University, where I handle dissertations for EDD. The leading question was, how far back are you doing due diligence on Guyana? When I was told Pradoville 1, I just held my head and I could not answer. I said, as far back, what is Pradoville 1? The officer said, the officer write a report. We have these extensive reports. So Guyana, don't be fooled. Due diligences in this modern world I'm alerting is being done. People are reading all the papers, the party papers, all the website. They have full-time staff is being looking at these things. I am hoping that the 120 million will be approved, but it's not going to be talk. With all due respect, they're dotting the I's. They have sent private persons into Guyana without sound and fury, doing their own homework. When the Islamic Bank team was in Guyana, I knew of each visit. They've developed relationships on their own. They're getting intelligence. So when any leader tried to pull a fast one, it's not going to pass. It'll just pull us further. And all the hope and expectations we have will not come true. The Arab culture, with all due respect, is quite different from Western model, signing agreement, dotted line, and everything else. It doesn't work with the Arab world. They size you up. They watch you. They observe you. They share among each other. Saudi Arabia talks with Qatar. They talk with Kuwait. They talk with Oman. They talk six among them. Whenever you go to reception, they all six always come together. They share notes. They know best practices. They know who's pulling fast one. They know, they share. I've communicated that when I was ambassador to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I'm only preaching so all Guyana will know. It's not by you asking. The Lord said, many are chosen, many ask, and few are chosen. Knocking and shut open. Yes, but you have to be fair and honest and transparent. One of the questions from the Islamic Development Bank, as Guyana application is being reviewed for 120 million. What's this one Guyana? Is Guyana being separated with those with oil and those without oil? I said, Your Excellency, our motto is one people, one nation, one destiny. Different politicians come, they have different slogan, and every government that's part of the slogan. But no, Guyana has not been separated. You see, these are the perception. Imagine the questions I don't receive, and others are making opinion from what they're reading. I asked them, where did you pick up this one Guyana? They said some New York magazine. The ambassador in United Nations sent them something about one Guyana as they're evaluating Guyana for all kinds of projects. I was asked about the educational qualifications of the people who are going. And I told them the truth, best of my knowledge. And the only one got a first-class doctorate is Dr. Ashni Singh. With all due respect, Dr. Jack Davis, an honorary doctorate, 2, 3, or 4 honorary. He hasn't earned, it's a difference. When you earn doctorate, you have to pass through certain level of studies. And, you know, you can't condemn, they know that. And I'm sure they knew that when they asked me, so I cannot lie. They asked about other people who went in Dubai and their qualification and the fake degrees. And I told them what I know with all due respect. And I told them to find out themselves and do their research. They're not stupid. These people are so smart. They had their hand burnt before, so they're wiser. They're very, very wiser. They rather give you charity. I've known where one contract, Kuwait walked away from $1 billion US. What's walked away? Because the figure is going to take more than that. It's a bad decision. The government fell, the minister fell, heads roll, and $1 million. So they're not afraid. The same thing. I am not surprised that the deals are not coming through as fast because they're doing due diligence. They're checking, double checking. And bear in mind, I'll just share an example. The Kuwait Investment Authority, when we were able to get the 60 million write-off, all the line officers said no, 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 to the beginning to the end. They did not agree because they said Guyana has a bad reputation. Guyana do not pay. Guyana do not respond. Guyana show very little respect. But His Highness overruled them. How many times are their Highnesses going to overrule? That happened. Yes, everybody celebrate. We got, 2/3 write-off, but it's because one person said no, overrule. But the officers are not taking risk. Many of them are highly trained, they're experienced, they've been around the mulberry bush, and their bonuses, their performance, their promotion is based on doing a good job. So they'll be very, very thorough. So these are some of the headaches that I'm faced with. Today, I had to do a special project from 5 o'clock until 3 o'clock, only bathroom breaks for Kuwait and the Islamic Development Bank, because they trust their brother. They trust me. I've proven. I've passed their tests many times. Like when I was in the IRS, I was an IRS inspector in Brooklyn. And many times the TP is not the taxpayer. When I ask the taxpayer a question, I already have all the answers in front of me by pressing one button. So I know people do that. And I know the Arabs will do that. Many of them, they tell me, you're right. You've spoken the truth, brother. You're still the same prophet. You haven't changed. They say, why will I change? You, my brother for life. I'll tell you the truth. I'll give you 3 ideas, plus, minus, and middle of the road. You make the decision. So, Bebrisons, I'm pleading with you as we go our 57th year, help our leaders, help our president and our ministers. Don't tell them nice words are true and true words are not nice. Tell them the truth, where you're hurting, what is bothering you, because others are seeing, others are watching, and they're reading and they're observing. So you have a great responsibility in all of Guyana to tell the truth so the leaders can do better. When the contracts are done badly, say it. Many nations, including Qatar, they have what you call whistleblowers. Oh, yes. Whistleblowers have reported Guyana to Qatar. I know. They asked me. I said, oh, my God. I said, I had to stammer. I said, I'm in North Carolina. I'm not in scene. I don't have all the pieces. I can't give my opinion unless I do research and ask some people, because they have whistleblowers have sent information on Guyana to Qatar, U.S. government. So Guyana, don't feel this world is a global world. I'm telling you because I care. Guyana is my country. I wanted to succeed. I went to Kuwait to help Guyana be better, but not for us to suffer. No, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. And I'm not saying about tearing down. I'm one of those who build up, believe you must build up and not destroy, because we are blessed in our own way. But if you don't speak the truth, if you don't communicate, I heard the president in Berbice announcing 20 million, and I hear the other side what's happening. I said, Ya Allah, Muhammad Rasulullah. When I do my namaz, what do I tell Allah? Lie? When I'm asked, you see, they ask, what do I do? Yes. The president announced 120 million, and I know between you and I, there's a lot of question marks. I only share with you what I can share that you can understand. I hope it passes. I'm going to do all I can, but I will not lie. I will not lie. And we have to stop. Friends, families, and governments have to stop. All governments, including the past governments, no more tearing down of the past. We have to build in the past. They asked that question, why you keep breaking and cheering and cheering and breaking? Laptop program finished. You're just wasting the people's money. Why are we going to spend money with you and you wasting your own money? It's tough to answer without calling names. Says, do your due diligence. Send your people, go find out yourself. Because some questions, I have to take the fifth and says, please do your own due diligence. What am I going to say? Then I said, I'm living in North Carolina. I'm not on scene, so get somebody on scene. So Berbishans is special plea to speak your piece. I know nobody is in from Linden. What is happening in Linden and Essequibo is a good decision to go in Essequibo, support all the regions. That is very, very good. But you can't marginalize one group.
That's so true.
Today by Kuwait, why only East Indians in Berbice? Couldn't you have trucks, donkey carts, and carry people from Georgetown? Other 6 nations, other 5 nations there, they could not see too many. Why that is so? What am I going to say? Tell me. I was asked this. Islamic Development Bank says the Berbice very good, and some of the officers went. I know the person who went to Guyana twice. He says only Berbice, right? Only one group of people. Couldn't you have a bus, carry some people so it'd be one? Why is it moved? I said, well, they're trying rotation, which is a good thing. Get the whole country involved, everything else. Cinderella country was known as Berbice. It was a good decision. I celebrated. But I do not agree for only catering for one group with a fund. You know what one officer said? Because sometimes I only know somebody else when another person comes on. Because I always think I'm talking to one. But no, today wasn't. Then I'll say, all the fancy chairs in white, Couldn't you spend that money and give them a bus fare or a taxi ride for other people to attend? I said, what am I going to say? I had nothing. I saw the picture. I saw the chairs dressed up. I saw the balloon. I said, why you spend all of that? Pay the taxi fare for the poor people. It's a poor people country. They should be there. You see how these people are thinking? We think, yes, all the glamour, all the fancy chair and the balloon and the garland and the mala, but they're watching and they're laughing. They said, where is the six races? Where's the one people? How are we going to spend our money with you, and you have all this money and you're not spending well? What's going to happen to our money? Are you going to pay back, or are you going to want debt right off again? I said, yeah, you know, it's a trying times, but I'm saying my piece, but I do want them to succeed. I try to get information to them, but nobody wants to listen. I made one call, spoke with one member of the team. He was too busy since a Thursday I called. So, they don't want to hear. They have their own way. His exact words, the boys have their own way. And, you in Guyana, you know what that means. If those are the words from a member of the inner circle, 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 10, that's his word. The boys have their own way. I echo those words to Islamic Development Bank. Oh, yes. You see, you have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. It's the truth. And the person who told me that know who he is. I'm not lying on him. So, these are the stuffs that are holding Guyana back in the international world. I happen to be in contact with the U.S. Department of State every week. I've been doing that for a long time, since 2007. I hold the Medal of Freedom from President Bush won in 1994, long before I was in Guyana politics. Perhaps they like my Old Spice cologne, or they like my fancy designer clothes. But I have access, whether it's Republican or Democrat. And in those days in 94, there were only 2 persons of color in the Republican Party, General Colin Powell and Dr. Shamir. So I've had those access for years, and I've maintained them every week. I'm in touch with the Department of State and my private capacity. Not every, there's power, position power, which fade away, and personal power, which lasts forever. If you know how to maintain it with respect, and don't tell a lie, and don't keep asking a favor, help them to understand. I teach them. I show them another way. I offer advice. Not only gimme. They get fed up with that. You can't. So Guyana, we are in a good place, and I wish the leaders will reevaluate what they're doing on ground. And all that glitters aren't gold. That's an old statement. All that glitters aren't gold. And the people in the Gulf in particular, they know that only too well. They look under the curtain. They look under the table. They see when you're pulling a fast one. They share your communication with others. They talk about each other. The Saudis know about it. I met King Salman. I met MBS. We have separate relationships. Al Jubair, the minister, I knew him when he was a press attaché in Washington. Not today. Al Jubair went. We spoke. He asked my opinion. I tell him the truth. I would not lie, because in the Arab world, I know and I learned, when they ask you a question, 9 out of 10 times they have the answer. They're looking for what you call corroborating evidence. You see, when you circulate among them and you watch and observe, you learn. You have to tell the truth. Or when I can't tell the truth, I says, I have to go and check some more. And I use the American, I take the fifth. I haven't got all the pieces. So it's they come and ask. They know, they ask, they check, and they know. So Barbician, all Guyanese, please communicate to your leaders. Let them know what is not going right. You have lived in Guyana. You know the privation. You know what is involved. Communicate. Write those letters, lick a stamp and envelope. Let the presidents know. I'm sure he's smart. He is a man of the people. He has come through life from West Coast. He understands. He says this, but you want the resonant verb. You want to see the deeds now. And if you send all those letters, pile it up in bags and let him see it, I'm certain he will be moved, because when he go to the masjid, Allah will not forgive him if he lies. He will not. He will not. I guarantee. If a Muslim lies, dozak, hell is waiting for you. All the prayers you do and all the charity and all the fasting will mean zero. if you lie and cheat from your fellow human beings. That's a no-no. Ask Sattar Ghafoor, let him tell you about the principles of Islam. Those are the kind of people who practice it. One person told me that our president is now going to the masjid, but where he lived, there's a masjid and he never went his whole life. I said, Ya Allah, I do not know that. I do not know that. But people are saying it from Florida. Says, do you know that? I said, no, I do not. You see, and as people pass on information, I said, no, I did not know that. I did not know that. I'm sure he's gone to his parents. He looks very religious. His parents went to Hajj. I'm certain they would have. They said, but no, he is not gone. I said, Ya Allah, I hope he asked for forgiveness. One person asked about the $720 slippers. I said, well, that's a designer slippers, and he's a president. He has to live the lifestyle. But one question asked, is that the paycheck of your president? I said, well, I do not know what his paycheck is, but I'm certainly he had other business before he became prime minister, and he can afford it. What am I going to say, ladies and gentlemen? He's my president too. What am I going to say with wearing a $720 designer slippers? And they asked me, and they sent me, said, what is that? Can't he wear an ordinary slippers like Imran Khan or the Prime Minister Modi? Simple chapa. White said to them, so, well, he's young, he's got to be fashionable, so forgive him, he know not. He said, if that kind of leader you have, how are we going to lend him money? He said, well, what am I going to say? I can't say. I have no answer. I don't have any answer for you. How you relating that question to an answer? What am I going to say? I saw the slipper. I saw it, and it's not a fake. It's a real. And I know the designer. I know the designer too very well because I spent Italian and French designer in New York. Jenny Biblos, Malisi Compleche, Christian Lacroix. I've been there, so I know.
Good companies. Yeah, good companies.
So I've been around. I know the Trumps in the fashion world. It's a different world. Milan and London with the Concord. It's another world I've been through. I've lived. So, you live through. I have to give back more. Every day you have to give back more because you're privileged. It's not about me. I have to give back more. I went today to see the movie. I had a project to finish for Kuwait and Islamic Development Bank. From 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock, I went to the movies. I saw the poor. Marianne was driving. I asked her to stop the car. And I went and reached out to that poor person. She says, you got to go to a meeting. She says, I can late for 5 minutes. Don't worry, I'll explain to the boys. So you have to think about your fellow man. You have to. We all should. We all are privileged. Our health is our wealth, not the money, not how much designer clothes you have on the fancy slipper or the fancy long parade in the car and the siren. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's our health is wealth. Eat good food, eat healthy, cook good meals, and be honest to yourself. Above all, to thine own self be true. What's happening in Linden? We talk about Essequibo, and I'm seeing the coconut industry is doing. How is Linden? Is Linden doing well?
Linden is doing well. If we had gotten Mr. Devin Sear, our member of parliament, he would have relayed a lot of stories in Linden there because, he's on the ground there quite a lot. And I know he's going to share quite a lot with us. But Professor Shamir, and I don't want my NDC councillor in Upper Crabwood Creek area there. He asked me to call his name, Anil. I'm going to say Anil. And he took us to the area, Crabwood Creek, Blackwater Section A, Grant 1804. And the deplorable condition in that area. There's an individual doing that road, and allegedly the residents, in that area, in that specific street, Grant 1804, they want me to call his name on national TV. I said, no, don't do that. Right? They even want me to call their names. I said, all right. And we point out, I got videos on that street. If you go there to go do that street now, the people gonna put some barricade there because they promised to do that. It's not a substandard work. The foundation is not completed. And the other section on the other side, there was a road done in our time around 2017 by a famous contractor in Berbice, Mr. Peter Lewis, who do an excellent road over there. Comparing what this character is going to do here now, such a substandard work. Going back into some other areas Raghubar Nagar Street in Line Path area. Very miserable condition. These contractors and even the residents are saying they never know them as contractors. They're neighborhood people who never hold a spade, who never.
Bastille, your mic, no sound, no sound. There is no sound for Bastille. Your sound went off.
Is it back on?
Yes, it's back on. Yes.
Okay. All right. So
repeat
you know,
the last 2 minutes.
Well, you know that Professor Shamir, and I'm going to give the current events on the ground, which is the truth. And come next Thursday, we're going to have our RDC statutory meeting, and these are things I'm going to bring up. I am part why I go around so much, especially with the Works Committee. I am a member of that committee, an elected member from the present administration who placed me in that section because everybody wanted me to be there because of my groundwork, my knowledge, and without fear or favor, I would say it as it is. Well, I tell you about New Amsterdam. In Carivaton is another tongue, bad roads. They're dressing up the front, like your face is nice, and then Terry Gadra sing that song.
Yep.
Your beauty in your face or you're handsome in your face, and then the rest are what?
Dirty
but I don't want to go there.
No,
but you don't do it just for all these Caribbean leaders came in the country and they see Georgetown, the main road is okay. But what about the other roads inside? And our people got to walk through mud. Our students, they don't want to go to school. A little bit of rain in Bushlat, a PBP area, a little bit of rain in the Bagdam side and the seaside over. Miserable condition. The people are complaining. And guess what, Professor? All right, and we said it on this TV already. Our MP, Mr. Kemra Dramjatan, our leader of AFC, and MP Ramsarup went into Anchorville and Missouri. And the next day, the Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, went in there. Why allow Kemra to come in for? The people say we allow him because now that he come, now I have followed. I have followed the leader. Are these our leaders? You guys are in the government. I went into Crabwood Creek, Lime Path, right on Independence Day. The next day, they were this administration running in there, and the people tell them the same thing. They got to take the opposition guys who were here for close to 5 years, and they were doing such a fantastic job, and now you guys are just following them the next day. It's best all over the country. They come, and then you come and follow them and try to correct things. Up to now, Anchorville is not corrected. One more rainfall there, the whole place is going to be flooded again. My viewers out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? Look, New Amsterdam, right? In the back part of New Amsterdam, in the front part of New Amsterdam, in the main street, right, is very bad. Very, very bad. You can't even drive a car. What happened to our taxi drivers? It's so much expense for them to the shocks and their tires, They have to charge extra, yes. So my fellow viewers out there, don't be mad with the taxi driver. Certain area they want to go up to 52, and they don't want to go any further for all those potholes. A place called Kilturn, Professor. And viewers out there, you know what I'm talking about. Kilturn is so bad. Roads, you got to dodge from one corner to the next. You can cause accidents. Major accident can happen. You can't go in Blackbush properly right now. A little bit of rain, you can't go in. Our viewers out there got to know, they got to be exposed. This present administration are not going into the back. They are dressing up the front. Even to the front, they're not dressing up properly. Whichever area they think they have supporters, they are not even, like I said on national TV, PPP administration have this policy. You keep certain people with low poverty level, uneducated, come election time, you want their votes, you go and buy their votes. Couple $1,000, and you bust them a lorry and go to these rallies. And you show the rest of the world we got big supporters. Look after your people now. Charity begins at home. Look after our people. Yep. Barbadians need help. We need major, major help. The rest of the world is looking at us as the second richest country in the world with oil and gas. We independent for 56 years and still with oil and gas for 2 years now. You're taking out oil and gas. Where is the royalty? Where is the profit sharing? Right? There is no good insurance. There's no comprehensive or full cover insurance for us out there with this oil. God forbid something happen. What's going to happen? The fishermen are complaining. The fishermen are complaining. There is not this regular catch what they used to have. The captain for the boats, the employees, the fishermen, they are not getting their good share of salary. When they got to come back to shore, you don't have a good catch, you're not going to get a good substantial amount of money. You know, look at the estate, right? They said they're going to open up estate. The white elephant in Skeleton still sitting there, right? How much money you going to pour to these people, right? They need the money, yes, but could do infrastructure work, do things that you could employ these people and let them work. You know, they're sitting home, they're going to be drinking anyway, you know. But let me tell you something, Professor. Things are going to happen, things are going to change. And our same people in Berbice, what PPP think they get transport for them, they're going to turn because these people are strong and they are healthy and they are educated and they're going to come out in numbers and they're going to support us, the AFC. When we were there, we were doing quite well, Professor, compared to what I'm seeing now, right? And, you know, estate workers, they're not making a substantial amount of money with the rainfall and with cost of living. You go look today, I went into Portman Market, every single body complains. I see new faces of people panhandling, and it's not 10 added, over 20, 25 of them added right across the market. Give me a raise, no buyer, give me a raise, give me some money, no. You know, we cannot have that. We cannot encourage that. You know how about panhandling in New York City? You know, you cannot do that. We cannot see people punishing. But the people have no other alternative but to go to the market, go to public places, and do panhandling. We cannot have that. And it's a shame.
Councillor Derek, you're very emotional. Berbice is part of your life. You're a Berbice boy, true and true. But we need more clones like you to speak those same words, speak the truth with all due respect to the leaders. Let them know, write their letters. What hurts me, water is a blessing. Many countries would love to have our water. 56 years and we can't solve our water problem. Maybe some behaviors have to change. Why all the drains? Why all the tulips are in those drains? We need some better behavior from everybody else. I was a little disappointed in the Independence 56th anniversary only in Essequibo. What I would like to see, more involvement with civil society. Civil society involved so you can talk with various groups around just this big flag raising, the various community. Ask the people, put in a box, ask them for the opinions, let them write a suggestion or the ideas. Listen from the people. If we say we are democratic, democratic does not mean only the elections, right or wrong. It means other principles and practice. President Biden is going and talking to the people about guns. And some senators are likely to change this coming week. You have to reach out to the people, get their ideas. I was disappointed to see the past president, Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, was kicked out. I wish I had a better word. He was literally kicked out of the public library. It was very sad. We should not tear down the past. Their leaders, good or bad, they made their footprints in the sand of time. We can argue their contributions, but history is a judge of that, not us. That should not happen. That's a very tarnished. I was asked that by the Gulf. How can the government, which one, the ministers? I said, I do not know. I just read the report, because I couldn't say which minister did it. All I said, the public library appears to make the call according to the newspaper reports that I read. But that reflects badly on all of Guyana, including the president and the vice president. When they go to the national, they're not being told this, but they know, they talk, they laugh, and they watch you and they size you up. So those are bad. The ideal situation will be get the civil society group. Civil society doesn't have to be yes for one group or another. Listen to them, hear them. They have ideas too. No one is a sum total of knowledge. No one. The Lord said, let he who is without doubt cast the first stone. Don't cast the first stone unless you listen. Somebody have better idea. You know, teach leadership. A good leader wants the smartest around him. Because when Warren Buffett says, when the tide is out, then you know who is naked. When the tide is high, everybody is floating. So we should have best people around you, the smart people around you. You don't want people who are yes, yes, yes. Leaders tend to have that and have their way. But that don't go on for long. People wise up with these days of technology. Guyanese are waking up, and this simple iPhone is transforming Africa, bringing you up to speed, and similarly is happening in Guyana. People are coming to speed and they're getting educated and they're seeing and they're hearing and they're knowing. So Guyana can do better. We all can do better collectively. I will come in. I have intelligence. I still keep in touch with one minister. I don't expect them to reply, but anything good, I send it to them. This is my style. It's all Guyana. They're the government. I send ideas. Some who never replied 3 times, I stop. Even if they bought it, they didn't stop. Well, I said no more. But other ministers, ideas that affect Guyana in various ways, and that minister knows who he is. I do. I help. It's it doesn't have to be party. Party is voting time. When that is over, is the government of the day for all Guyana. I preach that. I teach that. After election is one Guyana, one government for everybody. You can't manage for one side. It will not work. The Americans have been helpful. The Canadians have been helpful. The British have been helpful. I know from the American side, they are not too pleased. The current ambassador term is up. A person has been identified, and there might be a change. An easy lesson, good for a dunce. People are not, you can't con them forever. They wise up. Everybody who is smart, read President. I know this, a President carry it. President Biden's message as Secretary of State. Read that message for Guyana independence and read between the lines, ladies and gentlemen in Guyana.
That's so true.
I know the president carry it much. Read between the lines. I got it. I'm in the zone. I'm in the circle. And those who in my circle, they got it before it's published anywhere. As it has happened, I get it. And he says,
yes.
Wow, 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 wow. So the wind of change is coming. All that glitters aren't gold. So the plead is that we need to have more involvement, the opposition, whether the courts, the Constitution provides for challenging the courts. What's wrong with that? Go to the 3 levels for the court. There's no if, or but. The government is there with all due respect. You in charge. You're applying for 120 million for U.S. Islamic Development Bank, and you're not talking to the opposition leader that controls almost half of the people.
Yeah.
The 18 regional executive directors going to ask that. I know some of them asked that. They asked me, how come you only one person are not there? And I said, what can I tell you? That's the style of the government, and management is a style and not a science. That's how I get out of those things. But you get the lesson. They're cognizant of these stuff. So it needs to listen to the people more, and not just going in the media and the DPI and the Chronicle and having regurgitate that. Propaganda is the word I'm hearing a lot. They don't need propaganda. Say the truth. Say the facts. When you mess up, mea culpa. Ask forgiveness. Ask advice. They're expert. Dr. Adams is the expert in America. In the USA, number 3. He's a Guyanese from Linden. Linden system he came through. And his advice, because of party politics, which country are we on? This is, it can't. Party politics aside, listen to his opinion. You don't have to agree. Listen, reflect. But because he's knocked out. Because I'm an AFC, you don't want to listen to me. Well, the ones you're going for the loan, they are listening to me. They're coming and asking me, and I'm telling them the truth. So when your loan don't come, don't blame anybody but yourself, because I'm giving you the advance notice. I've been saying it with all due respect. Every time I'm on, I bring it to your attention. Easy lesson, good for done. Come in one ear, go for another. So you might not trust my advice, but those you going, including Qatar. I've been closer to Qatar than Kuwait. Long before I went to Kuwait, I was closer since 2003 because of George Washington University with the ruling family in Qatar. I'm still in touch every week. So it hasn't changed. So the position power, will go, the personal power, and we have to do better in Guyana. Any closing comments, Derek? I see we have just about 3 minutes to my clock.
Yes. Yeah, well, Professor, it's a pleasure to be in a panel with you. And thank you so much, Mr. Sherrod Duncan. And to your viewers out there, I'm going to be very, very frank and say we are not getting, as residents, we are not getting enough what we deserve. Other than the great infrastructure that you have in the pipeline with the stadium, with the bridge to Suriname, and the airport at Kanji, use some money and build our streets, our roads in New Amsterdam, in the municipalities, in the towns. We are not getting our fair share. We cannot have these bad roads and walk barefoot in mud in all the cross streets. What are you going to show? You're showing nothing else but poverty, low poverty level. We demand that we have cross streets with lights, and lights in all the areas, not only the critical areas, in the schools and around the streets and all over the places. You say you have money, use it among us in our residential areas. Don't use it like in Chesney. Let me close by saying one particular road in Chesney scheme going towards the Baghdam side, that road is paved with concrete and asphalt because there's a PBP activist in there who lend them his bottom house to do meetings. And that's the only thing. And the people in Chesney that listening to me, you know that I'm telling the truth. So we need and we demand our cross streets to be repaired properly, especially in the municipalities and all the residential areas in the back streets, not only the public road. Thank you, viewers. And we will hear from me again next week or some other week again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Derek, for being frank, fair, and like Honorable Cami Ramsrup used to say, pellucidly clear. Today, hope all Guyana will take the lesson to speak up or forever hold your peace. It can be better. We deserve to be better. We need to be better. In the words of the great religion, Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Om Shanti Om, Bhagwan, you are the omnipresent. You are everything and nothing is beyond you. You are our mother and our father, and we are all your children. Lord, make us an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Almighty Father, you the all-knowing, the all-giving, the all-seeing, grant the leaders in Guyana, all the leaders, the government, the opposition, the civil society, men, women, children, all the wisdom, the courage, so they can collectively, cooperatively work together to realize the one people, one nation, one destiny. Thanks to Sheridan team, thanks to Provisions, thanks to all Guyanese in Guyana and globally, thanks to all the supporting staff for these weekly programs. Stay safe, observe all the protocols. A warning, Dr. Rohan Samar in New Jersey told me to be very careful. This fall will be worse than anything we have received. His exact words are, we all will be infected, but because of our vaccinations, we will not get too sick. Easy lesson, good for Duns Guyanese. Get your vaccination. I wear 2 masks, not 1, 2. I went to the movie theater. We're the only one with 2 masks. But who are we protecting? Me, myself, and I. Please do the same. Tata, bye-bye, salam, namaste, jai hind.
Take care.